When we're talking about school culture and how school culture can really form and shape the ongoing growth and development of a child, we're talking about something that's pretty amorphous. In some ways, it's really hard to put our finger on the culture of a school, and your guess is as good as mine. We could have multiple people at a school that would have very different experiences of what they believe a school culture to be. Charlotte Mason, I think, gives us some helpful advice for how to think about the school culture in terms of atmosphere. One error we could easily get on is trying to micromanage the details of a school culture. It's not that we don't have some lines of control or ways that we can influence the school culture by creating traditions and thinking through how the practices that we do inform the atmosphere and the culture of a school. We have to keep a close watch on the temperature of a school culture, but we can't ultimately control everything. And I think Charlotte Mason had a good sense of that. Ultimately, what we want in a culture is not, for Charlotte Mason, a contrived environment where we put students in a very carefully controlled glass case that will grow them up exactly how we want them. We need to respect children as persons and understand that as human beings, we're way more complicated than that. And a culture is a living, growing, breathing organism. Instead, we want an atmosphere. We want a natural atmosphere, one that has fresh air blowing through it, and that in many ways is a bracing atmosphere of sincerity and truth. We want to create an atmosphere of inquiry in the culture. This is something that we can't perfectly control, but we can influence. And one of the best ways we can influence a school culture is by working at the level of the faculty culture. This is something we've seen and even heard from secular sources, how the faculty culture and how teachers think about their work and their level of positivity or negativity, how they're encouraging and engaging with one another, that's going to trickle down into the students. The students will feel that and in many ways conform in their culture to the faculty culture. So I would encourage teachers and administrators, if you think about the culture of your school, attend to your teachers, attend to the faculty culture, and see what you can do to give a shot of life into it, to help make prayer a part of that faculty culture, to make encouragement and time together real relationships. Kevin Clark and Ravi Jain have talked about a faculty of friends right there at the center of the school. And I think that's an inspiring idea and something that Charlotte Mason would have agreed with. We want a holistic life, and she modeled that herself in her house of education. She had a group of teachers with her, under her, learning from her, and she was always teaching them, but also living life with them. They literally lived in her house for a few years and then went to the practicing school and taught there. And so there was this rich and natural atmosphere that grew out of some of those practices. What are some practices that we can put in place in our schools and home education groups as classical Christian educators that can create that sort of faculty of friends, an atmosphere of inquiry after the truth, love for one another that trickles down ultimately to our students and inspires them for a lifetime?